Hello, and welcome everybody. I am doing, I guess, like a little explanation video of a pilot's life and how it works. And basically, I've reset my career about 13 or 14 times already, so I kind of know how like the beginning levels do work. And basically, I was doing that for research. This is actually going to be probably my final time of resetting it. Whatever happens, happens going forward. I'm not gonna sit here and reset it. So, first thing that we have here is the dashboard. This is where you're going to find three or four important things here. Actually, probably five important things. First off, at the very top here is your rank, your rating, how many flight, and this is something new that they recently added, is this little section right here. The number of flight hours you have done so far for the week, if you are on that 5-hour weekly, like I am with the contract, a little 5-hour weekly. And then your current location, and then who you are flying for. As for me, I'm with Scandinavian. So, and over here is the information how many stars Scandinavian is. 4 stars. If you also click right here on Scandinavian, let me give it a second to start up. It gives you any info that you need. If you want to see the top pilots for Scandinavian, as you see, I'm ranked 941 right now. But you can see everybody else that is either active or not active within Scandinavian. Now, they also do have company forums. And this is all that Scandinavian has. I'm sure there's probably something more on the forums. So if you have airline specific questions, you can actually go in here and do it. Let's try Southwest. Okay, so there's some, looks like German there, but yeah, dank. Yeah, okay. So we got some German. We got a couple of Germans flying for Southwest. Basically it's just a place for you to talk to your fellow pilots. Kind of make it more feel, like you're actually working for the company. You get to talk to your coworkers and stuff. This next, going here to the middle section, from left to right, we have the inbox. This is going to tell you everything that you need to know about job applications. Have you done any manual? I'll get to that here in a second. This is also where you're going to get your salary income. This is where your paychecks come to. It also lets you know when events start. The map is just basically an overview of the map of where you've flown so far. As you can tell, I'm pretty heavy in Japan. I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping for an Asian airliner in Japan again, but I didn't get one. I didn't get all Nippon. So, and then these two little random routes were the events. So, and the next screen is the ongoing events. To explain the events a little bit, basically you're going to click this icon here at the bottom. And let's say I want to do this event on the 23rd. So the A320 is from Belfast over to London. What you're going to do is that you can't add the event to the schedule because it's not yet ongoing. But what you can do in order to get notified that the event has started, you can say, hey, I want you to notify me when it starts. and how many subscribers, you know, basically this is subscribed you for an inbox. Like here it says an event has started. It lets you know when the event has started. I'm pilot number 124. So right now I know in this event there is 124 pilots that are currently in queue. And then, of course, you can invite your friends to the event and all that. There is a community poll here, an event history. Community poll. This is basically for our Saturday flights. And, going to Dusseldorf. I mean, I'll be honest, a lot of pilots do like these shorter flights, especially when it's an event. I mean, I'm gonna say I want to go to. Oh, fuck you on this. Yeah, no, I'm not going to Greece. Screw you. I mean, I'll do Dubai. I'll do Manchester. Yeah, I'm going to vote for Dusseldorf. So I voted for Dusseldorf. And of course, we can always submit ours here. So this is how this menu works. I'm always doing the community one. I always do the community weeklies. If I'm going to do any event, I'm going to do the community weekly. So, and the thing is, this is also the fastest way to get money and XP in order to level up, gain more money as well. This is the fastest way of doing it. So if you're on the, I'm going to be honest with you, if you guys are on that worry-free one where you have no targets or anything, then don't worry about if you're with a 1-star or 2-star airliner. Fly with them. And basically let your only time that you fly be these events. And then once you get up to a certain level, like level 3, I think it is, where you're guaranteed more 3, 4, and 5-star. I'll go over that in a second as well in the manual. There's a chart, and I'll teach y'all how to read it. But this is like the quickest way to get to the airline that you're looking for. Let's put it that way. Okay, sorry about that. Need to get a drink of water. So, down here at the bottom, this is your XP bar, of course, obvious. Your next rank. This is your current bank account. This is just in-game money. It's not real money. And then your hourly wage. And this is per flight hour. Yes, you can use the sim rate speed up. It does not count against you. It does not count as slew mode. So you can use the sim rate speed up. The only thing is that if, like for me, I'm coming up on the 5 hour mark. Basically, I'm looking for other aircrafts, so I'm not gonna want to speed through it because I want to try to maximize my hourly salary as much as I can. Achievements. There's 30 achievements to be had, and we'll go through that right now. So these are, of course, if you're a supporter of version 1, and then you have all these achievements that you can complete. Upload a profile picture, which I could do. Just don't. Whale, $1 million in the bank account. Rockstar, more than 100 friends. Influencer, more than 10 friends, which I don't know why I'm saying I'm short one. It doesn't make sense, but yeah, you have all those. Number of flights that you've done in your career is not, for me, it's 19. Total amount of flight hours, I've flown 41 and a half hours on this go around. You have your current contract. When you open this is where you can either terminate your contract or change your contract. For me, because now I know that there's a ton of short routes for Scandinavian. In 7 days, if I don't get any better offers to like another 4-star, 5-star, or better pay on a 4-star or something, I'm going to probably stay with Scandinavia. I'm just going to change my contract. And I'm going to change it to the flight target and get 25% more. Because right now I'm only getting 10%. This is the other reason why I tell you guys not to sim rate your flights. Because the more hours you rack up, the more that 10% is. Then we have our resume down here, which is basically all the airlines that you've flown for. Inventory. This is like if you have like any investment items, educational items, and basically gives your percentage per flight here. Photo album is that basically it is what it is. It's a photo. That's all that is. All right, going down to the next tab. Job market. Self-explanatory. This is where you can try to find any particular airline that you're looking for. You can, if you know the ICAO, you can always put it in here. If you know the hub airport ICAO, which for me, if I'm looking for Delta, I'm going to KATL, and it automatically, as you see, it automatically sorted out every single plane that's out of Atlanta that uses it as a quote-unquote hub. And the reason why I'm saying quote-unquote hub is because I know for a fact Frontier and Southwest try to avoid the term hub in real life. They actually really do. And what they use are more of a spoken wheel. They don't use the hub system. They use more of a point A to point B to point C system. They use a point to point. Same with Spirit. But Spirit does have quote unquote hubs. They do the hub and spoke. Like Delta does. Like Endeavor does. But that's one way to sort everything out. You can also sort out by countries. So, like, if I'm looking just to fly strictly in Asia, here's all my Asia carriers right here. And then you click up here and you can sort them out in whichever way you want. By the most jobs, and I'm frozen. And what I mean by I'm frozen, I'm literally frozen. Uh-oh. What's going on? This is the first time I ever seen the jobs freeze it up. Let me see if I can get it. Oh, my whole mouse is frozen. Oh, no. Let me see if I can. Thank God I have a wireless mouse, so let's see if that does anything. There it goes. Sometimes the mouse just decides to say, hey, I'm going to randomly disconnect even though I'm wired. But that is what it is. But you can sort by jobs. The job numbers. This is a huge thing. So the first number is how many jobs are available. So, if you're looking at this, everything, it sorts it by the total number of routes. Or total number of planes that they own in the fleet. It's one of the two. It's either routes or planes. So, like, where's it going? Cathay Pacific. It has 12 openings. It only has 236 planes and or routes. This one is sitting at 0. So Vietnam, you are not going to be able to fly for Vietnam. Unless somebody leaves it and you immediately put in your offer. Same goes with Beijing. This is the one thing with the Asian airlines, because a lot of the Asian market, I would say this, that is either here stateside, in Europe, or actually in Asia itself. As far as flight simming goes, they have an unknowingly bigger presence. They are very quiet, and this is what they're doing. They are basically using apps like Simbit World of Pilot's Life and doing a career mode as a pilot. So that's the reason why a lot of these are like at 0 and stuff. Then, of course, you can always... Oh, you can't sort by ratings, but... Go back to names. So, like, if I'm looking to fly in Japan... Air Peach is a good one. Where is Air Peach? Or is it Peach Aviation? Might be Peach Aviation. Let me go down here and check real quick. Yes, it is Peach Aviation. So, as you see there, I can go back to them if I want. Just hit apply, go back to my 2-star. Because they got 20 positions available. But I'm trying for like the 5-star, so you can also even do this. If you're looking for strictly 5-star carriers. And you can see what's available. Basically, right now, it's only been 1 day since I've started with Scandinavia, so I can't apply for any of these. That's the other thing. You cannot put in manual offers until you get your first set of automatics. So, like, right now, All Nippon has 72 positions available. I'm just probably not a high enough rank. Japan Air, 49 positions. Korean Air, 83. Now, I will say this, when the fly-by-wire A380 comes out, I'm pretty sure that that's going to go way down. Same way all the ponds. I'm pretty sure that these two are going to go completely down the hatch. And even Ethad is probably going to go down as well. But that is the job market. The scheduling is just what it says. It's a schedule. You can skip flights, which is basically saying, hey, I really do not want to, let's say me, I don't want to do this 1,600 distant flight. Let's say that. From Malaga, Spain, over to Stockholm, Sweden. Let's say I don't want to do that flight. I can sit here and hit skip flight. It will skip this flight for me. Granted, you don't get XP or money for it. It just basically takes it off of your schedule. And basically your position will change to Sweden. But you are a passenger. Is more or less what it comes up to being. Is that you end up being a passenger. So you get no XP, no pay. Because basically your pay for that flight, pay for you to get up to Stockholm kind of deal. But this is your schedule. You can print the schedule, which is going to do this. If you prefer to have, like, if I was able to do it, I would prefer to print off my schedule. That way, when I'm at work, and it's a very slow day at work, and the bowling center is very slow and stuff like that, I can get onto SimBrief, I can get onto SkyVector, I can get onto Navigraph, and start charting out my routes for my next upcoming flight, if I wanted to. Could do that. The other thing is you have a schedule map here as well. So, like I said, I'm going from Frankfurt back up here to Copenhagen. Copenhagen. It's Copenhagen. I'm sorry. And then we have the logbook, which is basically a log of all your flights. It's same thing. That's the reason why I didn't click on. Where is it? That's the reason why I didn't click on resume. Because it's basically the same thing. Just in a non-PDF form. Then our current flight. So this is where all the magic happens. One thing that I will tell you guys surely is that it does auto refresh, it does auto follow. You can do friends, airlines, none, VATSIM. If you're on VATSIM network, you can do VATSIM. I don't have it. I don't have my ID set up to it yet. You could divert to airport, but that's after this takeoff stage. So let's say if your aircraft, your Phoenix A320 or your PMDG 737, let's say you do have the random failures on. I personally don't have it. I find it a little bit of a nuisance, but it is what it is. Because I prefer to fly to point A to point B. And sometimes to point C. And I'm trying to do these videos, so I'm not trying to have too much of a failure going on and stuff. But also the other thing is even auto landing, the 737 tires just immediately popped upon landing every single time, and be honest, it was pissing me off. So I made sure they're all off. But so we have current flight details. We open up the link. It brings you to this right here, which is a 7-Bit World website. This is the live data. This is the same thing as somewhat as your I guess you would say, your dashboard. It's kind of the dashboard and the flight screen mixed. Let's put it that way. And there's the SimBrief route for the flight that I just did. And then we have change aircraft type. So let's say if I don't want to fly the Neo back up to Copenhagen, let's say I want to fly that one elusive bird that I know that Scandinavia has. Just don't know where it's at. Let's say I want to fly the 738. I can change my aircraft type and fly the 738 on this route. And the divert to airport is like what I said what it is. That's what that button does. Now you can also change your cruising altitude up here. As you see here, I can change my flight level of whatever my cruising altitude is. This third button, the FR24 real flight details. Basically, it brings up this page for the this particular flight that I'm getting ready to take. As you see, it's done with either a CRJ or some form of Airbus. And I'm thinking if it was done with the CRJ, they didn't have too many people going up to Copenhagen for a return flight back. So they probably put people on the CRJ and got them up. So that means they probably had less than probably 80 people for a flight. So instead of using up an Airbus that holds 180 and trying to, a lot of people are going to probably try to sit up front, all 80. Well, no, you can't have that. You have to have an evenly weighted plane. So you have to have like pretty much all 80, like 20 on each side spread out across the whole entire plane. You have to have that. So I'm pretty sure that's why they use the CRJ there. But like this one landed. If you are a guest or a member like I am, I'm not a full member, but I can sign in and gain a little bit of access. But let's click on the play here, and it shows you the route that they took. And basically, A330 driver does a great job of this. I want you guys to go check him out if you're checking out this video. Go check him out on his flight planning stuff. And heck, even if you guys need help with the Phoenix A320, he just did a whole tutorial series on it. If you need help with any of the 737s, because they basically all have the same base overhead panel. So a lot of stuff can be cross-referenced between the 600 to the 900. But he goes over some of this, and it's very detailed. It's done very, very well. So I suggest that you go check out his channel. I will try to put an annotation somewhere here on the screen. When I start uploading this video, I'll try to put one in for you guys. I might have it show up right at the 30-minute marker, but we'll see. And I'll try to put a link to that video. All right, so back to a pilot's life. So that's what that is. Of course, the bottom buttons are self-explanatory. We do give you METAR data on A pilot's life. One thing is, though, about it, I notice a lot of time it does not go cohere all the time with the simulators METAR data. So if you are using the Microsoft Flight Simulator, I think it might go for X-Plane. I'm not sure because I'm not an X-Plane user. But it might definitely go. I know it definitely goes for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Your METAR data might differ from APLs. APLs is real world METAR data, what's going on there right now, live currently. And a lot of times, Microsoft Flight Simulators, I believe, is like 30 minutes to an hour behind. So it's whatever the weather was an hour ago. So there's that. So I would take that with a grain of salt. I would only use this on the arrival METAR. I'll tell you why I would use it on the arrival METAR, because if you're not using anything like Beyond ATC, Say Intentions, Pilot to ATC, FS HUD, if you're not using any one of those 4 ATC traffic add-on programs, or not traffic add-on, but the reason I'm saying traffic, I'll tell you guys here in a second. If you're not using any one of those 4 ATC add-ons, third-party add-ons or whatever, then you need to go by real-world data, especially when your plane says no available METAR data. And you're sitting there, you're like, well, what do you mean there's no available METAR data? I have one right here in a pilot's life. That's what these are good for. They're there for like a last case emergency. Last ditch effort, last case emergency. But now on to the meat and potatoes. Of course, SimBrief Dispatch is what it is. If you have your SimBrief set up into the settings area, you can click on this and it'll bring up this lovely page right here. And you notice that that flight that I was looking at, this is the same exact route that it took. From Flight Radar. Normally, me personally, I don't do real world routes. I go through Navigraph chart. I go through SkyVector. You see the tabs open at the top. I go through those. And the main reason why I go through them is because I want to learn how to chart a flight out from beginning to end. I want to learn what I can and can't do. You know, there's been a couple times where I've made some crazy ass routes because let's say I just wanted to go over by Amsterdam for no apparent reason. I will find what I normally do in order to get me over by that side. I basically will take a departure that kind of loops around back up towards the north. It'll go out to the west and then start turning back to the northeast. I take those types of departures. That way, you know, let's say if I want to go by Amsterdam, I can. I can see Schiphol. But, you know, okay, well, now let's say, okay, departing on 1A, and let's just say I just want to see. Let's say I want to fly down to Munich before flying north. Guess what? Is that feasible? No. It is, but it isn't. Your passenger count will go down, but you are going to be carrying more fuel, which means you're going to have a little bit higher center of gravity. And I will say, if the winds are somewhat high, that's not always a good thing. Take it from somebody that knows and has accidentally done that a time or two. Flight report is that of what it is. It's basically it's post-flight stage. It gives you all the information you need to know if you scored 100, if you scored a 70, whatever you scored. Restart flight is exactly what it says. It restarts the flight. So let's say if your simulator crashes, but APL is still open, I'm going to be openly honest with you. There's a little trick here to getting the flight finished. You won't get credited the hours, but you'll get credited the XP. Do not restart the flight. If you're mid-flight, as long as the APL hasn't crashed, it's still holding that data. All you need to do is just spawn into your arrival airport and gate. Once you do that, it will see it as like, oh, he's landed, and it looks like it lagged. That's what it's a fail-safe. You don't have to start back up in the sky anywhere or anything. Or you don't have to restart from all the way at ground zero at Frankfurt. You can just put yourself on the ground over at Copenhagen in this example. Thank you. Have a nice day. Flight's done. Hit post flight. I will say this though, you are going to get hit for the taxi light on the way in. Especially in the Phoenix. And I think also the Boeing 737s. For some reason, for the life of me, whenever you spawn in with these planes, their taxi lights are already on. It makes zero sense. So, don't know why that is. And then, of course, the submit flight is what it says is submit flight. Basically, if you've flown the whole entire thing, thank you. Have a nice day. Just put on the airlines. We have a couple of airlines up in the air today. All right, going to the shop. Okay, now you remember that page where we saw an inventory back at the beginning part of the video? This is your inventory items. As you see, they range anywhere from investment to education. Basically, do you more money or more experience? That's what we're going with here. And give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Maya's doing something crazy. All right, I calmed her little ass down. Yeah, you stay up in that tree and stop it. Go to sleep. She's just trying to tear down more blinds. But basically, this is. I'll be honest with you. You guys do not want to get any of these right off the rip. And I will tell you why. One, the obvious one is that the pricing is very, very expensive for something like this. You know, I can understand, like, the tourist establishment being, you know, what is that, 500K? I can understand that. And then you get a 50% bonus investment. That I can understand. You know, same with these two right here, knowledge and application of procedures, parts 1 and part 2. I can understand this being 300K each. But when I sit here and go like, hey, I want to get a little boost in pay, financial education is 5K. Well, what the hell? Well, I'm not going to be flying. And I'll tell you why you're not going to be flying. As we come in here to this section, aircraft licenses, as you see here, the cheapest license is $1,500. Well, when you start out this program, you only start out with 5K. So, what a lot of us do is that we tend to go for the 2 mid-range planes right out the gate. And a lot of times that being the 320 and the 737, because that's what a lot of us have is either the Phoenix or the PMDG. As you can see, I also have the AnyBuilds A300, so I had to take the A310 family. That's what that is. Aircraft licenses is where you go and buy. This is what unlocks your routes, by the way. So, and this also kind of ties into if you can get the job or not, along with the job count. 3 factors on make sure that you're getting a. There's actually 3 to 4 factors that I know that can get you a high-level job. First and foremost is the aircraft. You have to have the right license to fly the airliner. That's straight point simple. Secondly, is here on the dashboard, or no, in the job market. Secondly, is that you have to have. What I noticed is that you have to hit your bonus target. If you're doing the bonus ones, you have to hit your bonus target in order to get considered for a 4 or 5 star at rank 1. Is what I noticed. That's point 2. Point 3. If you are trying to earn the most that you can and not really see the world, but you're trying to like stay in one area like Europe or North America or whatever, and you're just trying to stay with those airliners, around in that area, then try not to rush for 4 and 5 stars. Just letting you know. Don't try to rush. Try to go up to the rank of first officer before doing so. Flight skips. That's the number of skips that we saw at the bottom. You can always pay extra per month, or they reset and give you 5 every month. And yes, it does cost in-game currency. Same with the flight ticket. And now, the thing with the flight ticket is this. Let's say I got a job. Let's say the game gave me a job with Delta on the next go-around. I'm sitting in Frankfurt. We're going to put in EDDF. I want to go back to the States. Well, I'm going to be flying a Delta, hopefully a Delta flight. Well, let me see if it goes to the main hub of Atlanta. Airline DAL. Search, and there's a couple from Frankfurt to Atlanta on the A330s. Basically, what you could do is that you want to add the trip here. You want to click the little add button. You want to put it here. And then, even if you've done your schedule already for Delta and you wanted to start out of Atlanta, basically you would purchase this ticket if we're trying to be a lot more immersive with our careers. And then we always want to make sure that this box is checked, especially if you already made a schedule. Prioritize trip and current schedule. In other words, it'll be trip number 1. You will get the experience points for this. You will not get the pay for it, though. You will not get any kind of pay for it. So basically, it's a free flight that you're trying to do just to immerse yourself in your career. And then you can either purchase it or clear it. I'm going to clear it. But that's what flight tickets is for. Community is like what it says. This is where the community is. We're also on Discord as well. I will see if I can find a shareable link to our Discord server, where you'll find me and plenty of other people that will be willing to help you out. But this gives you the global stats of how long this has been around, yada, yada, yada. Also, actually, you can just click here. This is a new button. This wasn't here at one point in time. It's just these 3. But, yeah, you can just click this right here, and I'll take it to the Discord. There's my 5 people, or my 9 people that are not online, but they're all over. Public stats, that's going back to this again. Airline leaderboard, we already looked at on another screen. Reports. So let's say I want my financial report for my entire career. We're going to just hit generate report. And it gives us to this in this lovely, financial report. Over my entire career. Now, you can do financial report, you can do flight report, you can do hours report, XP report. Flight report, generate. And this kind of tells you how many flights I took per week. As you see, I'm quite not averaging 10 flights. I'm averaging about 6 flights a week. Or thereabouts. I know what this one was from. It was from my little excursion in a C700. Let's put it that way. But that's what that is. Hour XP report. Basically how much you gain. The expansion. This, did it come up? Nope. Okay. Expansion is basically that, a PA. It's basically where all your announcements come from. The default name is Vera. There's a reason why I don't have a master enabled. And it's basically because it sees the taxiway lights on and everything, and it starts the safety message why the plane's not even on. So that basically that master enables and tied to the nav and taxi lights. So I don't have it on. You can also have your own sound custom profiles. We have a place in our Discord server where you can download custom PA packs. And it plays through this and not through the Phoenix, guys. That's a whole different thing altogether. So I am just opening up. All right. So we do have this little thing that's posted, and it has every whatever airlines available at this point in time. As you see, we have a couple Condors, got a couple Deltas, Emirates Finland. We do have Scandinavian, which I'm actually going to go download here in a few minutes. I didn't know we had one. I didn't think we did. That way I can have some PA going in the background. And basically what you're going to do when you're doing custom is you're going to hit generate and brings up all this, and you just select the files out of the zip files. And then here you name it whatever you want to name it and then generate it. Tools. This is the random flight generator. This is basically their individual add-on that I believe is free. And it's in a pilot's life. This is if you just want to randomly go around flying. You're not going to get any XP or salary for it, so basically it's just have a fun time. Add-on recommendations, it lists every single add-on. And this is what I was talking about, random flight generator. Basically right here. So if you buy a Pilot's Life Chapter 2, you're getting the generator with it. Of course, Navigraph. And this is where a lot of people can... This is where a lot of us share our... our add-ons that we prefer and or that most of us use. There's Pack X, Pro ATC, SR. That's another one that's kind of went under the radar for ATC. Pilot ATC is here. Rex, the Mad Dog, the Highwind. Orbix, Oslo, which I need to grab. The Chancellor, AI Flow. So AI flow and an AI ground. These two go hand in hand because I'm going to be honest, it is a pain in the ass when you have whatchamacallit, basically FSLTL. If you are not coupled that with FS-HUD, then you get a lot of what we call suicide planes. At least this you can somewhat control them. I'm surprised this is actually here, Air Hauler 2. This is no longer needed. Phoenix to GSX, that's no longer needed. Then we have the tossless A320neo for X-Plane. Passenger 2 is always good. After Sky is really good. I'm going to rate that out on really quick as a 5. Just to bump it up a little bit. FSFO. And then FS Census Approach 2021. And then there's a FSI panel. So we suggest a lot of good things in here. A lot of good things. Installed add-ons. Basically auto detect. Scan it. And this is the list of all my add-ons that I have. Checklist. This just gives you checklists for certain aircraft if you do not want to use any first officer type of program. This will help you start the planes and stuff. And then we go to settings. For obvious reasons, I'm keeping all this hidden. But as you see, SimBrief alias. So this is your username for SimBrief. This is how that one part in the flights tab is connected. But as you see, we have changed passwords, first, last name, yada, yada, yada. I mean, this is like hidden by default anyways, but still. And coming over to this side, this is the more important side because this is the application settings more than the account settings. So, number 1, if you were a user of version 1 or chapter 1, whichever way you want to call it, of APL, this is where you'll put that username into. Preferred region. So, let's say I'm getting tired of flying in Europe. Let's say I want to go fly in North America. I would, just simple as this, just sit here, click on North America. I need to put in my VATSIM ID eventually. Auto submit flight report. You can set this if you don't want to show it off or anything and just set and go. Thank you. Have a nice day. Notification for submitting completed flight. In other words, once this is auto submitted, it will send you a notification, like a little pop-up window or something, saying, hey, flight's been submitted. Require taxi light on for the start of flight tracking. Caveat to this are 2 airplanes, and I've already discussed them. the Phoenix, and the PMDG aircrafts. For some ungodly reason, they start with nav and taxi lights on. So if you're going to primarily be flying those two, make sure that this is clicked off. If you're flying like the E-Jets, CRJs, any default aircrafts, then you can turn this on and it won't start flight tracking until after you done push back from the gate. Dark theme is what it says it is. Light, dark, light, dark. We get it. Start maximize means this big screen that you see here. Minimize the tray is when we click the minimize button. It'll just minimize it down to your system tray down here in the lower left. Sounds enabled. This is like all the little dings and everything that you hear. It's also needed on, I believe, for the expansion as well. Enable experimental beta version. Guys. Yeah. If you have not been a beta tester in the past, please, please, please just stay on the live application. We are seeing this with people that are buying the supporter pack for Beyond ATC. I'm seeing it with the subscription model from Say Intentions. I'm seeing a bunch of people just complaining, blah, blah, blah. This doesn't work. I want my money back, blah, 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 blah. Guys, early access, experimental beta, open betas are all one and the same thing. Pretty much. Know that there are going to be some builds that are going to, I'm just going to come straight out and say, are going to be complete shit. And it's not going to work as intended. Give the developers time to fix the said bugs. As long as you tell them, hey, this is happening and everything. Here's my logs. You know, how can we fix this? You know, as long as you present it as a problem to them to fix, 95% of the time they will fix that problem. If it's a new bug or whatever, then it might not be fixed in the next build that they're working on, but it'll be fixed in the one after. That's the whole thing about beta. And then, of course, we have save settings, which I'm going to do because I want to save that North America. All right, and the last page, which I wish everybody on Discord would do. Because I know it's driving the moderator teams. It drives me a little bit crazy as well. The help pages here, it brings up the manual. Take 20 minutes to read said manual. It doesn't take that long, guys. I basically just did a visual manual for you. Yes, granted, it's taking me about an hour, but that's because I'm going through explaining stuff. All right, so the flight tracking. The reason why I couldn't show you this is what's all included. All right, pre-flight. Simulator connected. Correct location at departure airport. All engines are off. In other words, you guys started from cold and dark. Stationary ground speed is 0. Well, that's going to be if you're starting from cold and dark. The reason why and then on ground. Well, yeah, you're going to be on the ground. Landing gear is down. In other words, you didn't take off and then that was it. Then we have a taxi out. Minimum of one engine running. So a lot of companies, if you do buy procedure books and stuff and you know the procedures of the company, a lot of companies, and I will say this, Southwest is known for doing this, especially when the temperature is pretty hot or pretty high. They will do one engine taxis to save on fuel burn. The other engine will be up and running because they want the passengers to have some air on the plane. So the second engine will be running. It's just that they're hitting the lever, that one lever, that's it, to taxi out. Take off. All engines are running and spooled. Ground speed bigger than 30. Another thing that doesn't say here, guys. Come to a full stop on the runway. That way it can change from taxi out to the takeoff stage. There's been a couple times where I gotten cleared for an immediate takeoff, which is basically a rolling takeoff. And I got dinged on the ground speed, being over 30. Because that's another thing that's not shown here. Ground speed bigger than 5, but technically it should say here, but less than 30. But normally when you spool the engines, you're above, your plane will take off, will go above 30 knots. It'll go pretty much to the 40 knots and get the speed tape running. Initial climb, altitude from ground passes 50 feet. Not on ground. Easy enough. The climb phase. Make sure it's not telling you about any of the... Oh, here it all is. So, climb phase. Initial climb. And here's what I was talking about, the max ground speed. This guy right here. Want to make sure your flap set. Transponder is not 1200 or 2000. Taxi light is on. Beacon light on. Navigation lights are on. You're ready to taxi out to the runway. Take off. You want landing and strobes on. Max pitch angle is less than 20 degrees. Basically, I would say this needs to be reworded because I've tried this several times. It needs to be less than or equal to 20 degrees. For this guy. Because I've gotten up to the 20 degrees and rocket shipped out of an airport before. Landing gear retracted. Most of the time you get this done by like 800 feet in the air. Once you have a positive rate of climb. Max intended airspeed must not exceed 260 knots. This is on the initial climb out. This is like your first 5,000 feet. So make sure you're not going over 260 knots your first 5,000 feet. If you are, then set up your EFIS the speed dial on the EFIS to like 250 and have it level out at 250. Short runways, yes, you're going to probably get up to 260 quite quickly because a lot of them are Togo enforced. The initial climb or the climb out phase. Flaps up. Make sure your landing lights are off before 10,000 feet, people. There's a lot of us that get dinged by this because we just get into our autopilot mode and forget about them. Cruise. As long as you're not pausing or slewing, you are good. I think this has just recently been worked on to allow up to about 5 minutes of pause. Just in case if you have to go to the bathroom or something. Initial approach. Max pitch angle. I would say So less than 15 and bigger than -10. Or the best way to put it, no less than vertical speed of 1,500 feet a minute up to about 6,000 feet per minute. That's the best way to put it if you use vertical speed. Because on my way in, you'll see, as you've seen in my last video, I dumped like a rocket ship coming back through the Earth's atmosphere into Frankfurt for some ungodly reason. And there was at times where it got down to like 6,000 feet per minute from out of nowhere. Max intended airspeed, no less than 280 knots. At that stage, so initial approach, EDF is a good example of this, of when that starts. Basically, it starts when you make your turn, when you make your base leg turn for the finals on the ILS, if your airport has them. If not, they can be a little bit more iffy. But it is normally indicated on the chart of where max speed is 280. And then that's where most of the time this kicks on. Landing lights on below 10,000, we all know this. Approach still in between 10 and 15. Flaps are deployed, landing gear is down, spoilers are armed. Max intended airspeed, this is at the point where our plane should engage approach mode. That's where this stage starts, is that stage is where the approach mode starts in our planes. Of course, our landing rate basically tells you here anything greater than or let's just say or equal to 300 feet a minute, you get rewarded 3 points, and then you get deducted all the way up to 500 to 0. Same with the G-force, should be the same thing. Taxi in. I'm not sure if anybody else is having this problem. And now taxi lights off at the end of stage. I'm gonna be honest, your landing lights are gonna be off anyways as soon as you pull off the runway. Your navigation lights need to be on. Your beacon light needs to be on. If it's daytime, go on ahead and turn off the taxi light as soon as you pull off. That way you don't have to worry about it. If it is nighttime and you do need a taxi light, If you do not have a what is it called? A wheel light on the plane. There's not a button for a wheel light. Then when you're turning this off, I will say fly-by-wire is pretty nasty about this, at least for me anyways. It's not anymore after I've reinstalled everything. But I was having a problem where I wasn't even turned into the gate, turned off the taxi light, but some kind of communication between FS UIPC 7 and a pilot's life, it wasn't turning my taxi light from a 1 to a 0. Don't know what was going on there. Flaps up, of course, that's going to be done on as you come off the runway. Spoilers down, that's going to happen as well when you come off the runway. And then we're back down to the max ground speed of no more than 30 knots. All right, pilot ranking. You get XP based on every single flight. Purchase item modifiers, they do help out somewhat. Not much, but they do. Like I said, I wouldn't worry about it unless if you only have the Phoenix. Let's say your 2 aircraft are the Phoenix and the fly-by-wire. It's only 2 aircraft you got. Then by all means, go on ahead and just buy that 1 license. Save up your money for one of the modifiers at that point then to help you out. And then it goes by the flight length. Now, your XP, if we go back to the, I think it shows in the schedule. No, it doesn't show it in the schedule. Is it on the flight? Yeah, okay, so there it is, category short. So, what this is telling you, short negative 20%. So, let's say, I think the default XP is 300. It's either 300 or 500, I can't remember. So, basically, I'm doing a bunch of short hauls right now. So, I'm getting dinged with a lot of negative 20%. Or no, it is of the score. Well, actually, then I could show you this. It'll make a lot more sense between a long haul and a short haul. So as we see here, score 99. I got 79 XP. Okay. So I got a 20% deduction on XP. If we come here, this is more of a medium range flight. 92, I basically planted it into the ground at Copenhagen because of the crosswinds were just horrible. So I made sure I just planted it into the ground, and I also got hit with the taxi light. Bull crap again. But I only got 92 XP. It's basically 100%. For medium flight, the 100% is at 80 from Peach. I believe these were short flights. Yeah, they were. Yeah, these were short flights. You notice I made 100%. Got deducted 20%. Well, 20% of 100 is 80. I have yet to do a long haul, but you kind of get the idea. The events, as you see, these are the payouts. For the XP. And the other thing about events, you get paid out immediately on salary. But these are the ranges in the pilot ranks. Junior first officer, 0 to 2,000. First officers, 2,000 to 5,000. Senior first officers, 5,000 to 10,000. Captain is 10,000 to 20,000. And then senior captain level, basically rank 1, goes all the way up to rank 10. And so on and so forth. And your pay does go up per level. All right, so this is the auto-generated offer board. So, if you are rank 1, we are all between that 70 and 100 when we start. That is, your first allotment of airlines is definitely a RNG fest. But your second go around, you will get automatic offers as long as you keep the same rank between 70 and 100 of getting 1, 2, and 3-star offers as a junior first officer. When you level up, and this is the other reason why I was saying, if you're looking to try to get with a 4-star airline, try to wait until you level up, unless if you are constantly in the mid-90s. Keyword is constantly in the mid-90s. I got lucky and I was at 92. It can still happen, but... And basically because that 92 came off an event from a longitude issue. Basically, I took off like a rocket ship and I landed like a rocket ship. Because I didn't know how to control the damn thing. But this is why I'm trying to tell you guys, if you guys are sitting around that 90 to 100% marker, wait until you turn first officer to try to apply for a 4-star airline. Because you will get automatic 4-star offers. The other caveat to this is, like me, for instance, I just applied to a 4-star airline. I will go over the manuals here in a moment, the manual offering. But if you're looking just to do automatic offers, don't come into the Discord complain, oh, why can't I get this offer? Oh, why can't I get this airline? Oh, why can't I get this airline? This is why. You're too low a level. Now, if you are level 3, and you're complaining about not getting a 5-star, if your rating is below a 70, so technically the way how this should read is 0 to 34, 35 to 69. So if your rating is a 69 point something, and you're a level 3, and you're a senior first officer, yeah, you're still going to get stuck with 2, 3, and 4-star. You're basically middle of the road, Jack. You got to take what comes at you. Now, if you're like a perfect, like 95 to 100, and you don't get a 5-star, okay, yeah, then, okay. You can come in and gripe about it a little bit. It is what it is. But you're pretty much guaranteed 4 and 5-star at level 4, Which, if you come back up here, level 4 is Senior First Officer. I think. No. Captain. It's Captain and Senior Captain down here. Senior Captain. Yep, you're guaranteed that. You're even guaranteed it between the 35 and 69 level. And even between 0 and 35 if for some odd god reason you tank everything. As far as manuals go, manual job applications, that happens every weekday, Monday through Friday, UTC. Keyword here is UTC or Zulu. And this pops up every now and then. Don't worry about it. Just hit continue like I did. Monday through Friday at 7:20 a.m. UTC. So, if I was able to put in offers, and let y'all know this right now, if I'm able to put in offers, I need to get them in within the next 20 seconds. That's not going to happen. In order for them to get looked at in the next couple of hours. You have to do it before 0000 UTC of the next day. The only caveat to this is the Friday. If it's Friday going into Saturday at 000, it will not be checked until Monday at 7:20. So you do have 3 days to put in a manual submission over the weekend. The way how this goes, basically I asked a good buddy of mine on Discord about this, just to make sure that I got it right specifically for this video. If you are still here an hour and a half later, I appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. But basically, this is the breakdown. Pilot's rating, 100 to 81. Keyword here, they don't put this on here. It needs to be on here, but I made sure of this. So 100 to 81. If you are a rank 1 pilot like I am, and you are trying for, let's say, Delta, you have an 11% chance of them accepting. Same like Scandinavian. Apparently, I hit the lottery here on this one. You only have a 28% chance. The reason why, and this also goes for the salary as well. So if I'll get into the salary here in a second, because it kind of goes hand in hand with this. So junior rank, if I was looking at 1 and 2 star, I have and maybe even 3 stars, I do have a higher chance of getting on board with them, with any of these, than when I do these two. Because that is almost a 20% drop between the two. If you are first officer, at this point in time, you're almost guaranteed a 1-star airline. You're almost actually guaranteed 2 and a 3-star. Your chance ratings go up a little bit on these guys. And you notice how vastly different this is manual entry compared to the autos. This is the other reason why I'm telling you to wait until you get that first officer rank, because you have a 20% chance of getting a 5-star. You have a 32% chance of getting a 4-star. Now, I've also done some other testing on this, like where I'm at on the XP bar. If you do a couple events right off the rip, do your whole entire schedule and everything, and you are close to first officer, you actually get almost like a 30% rating for a 4-star. It bumps up this by 2 and negates this by 2. Because it sees that you're kind of right here on the edge, you're right here on this black line, you're getting ready to tip over into a rank 2. Same with rank 5. I wouldn't even worry about rank 5s until probably like level 3 or 4 maybe. Just because there is like a 10% difference here. I know there's a 10% difference between first officer and senior first officer, but it's actually, in reality, it's like 8.5, 9. But this is the reason why not many people get accepted. And not only that, but I'm assuming that a lot of people, like me, are maybe like low to like maybe mid-90s because of one thing or another. You know, we didn't fly perfectly one day or something of that nature. It changed our score a little bit. I'm going to be honest with you. The more that you're closer to this 100, the better off chance you have of rolling these numbers. I'm just letting y'all know. If you're below an 80, which some of the people that have been coming into the Discord, I noticed that their score is right around an 80, and they're complaining like they're like a level 2 or level 3. Hey, why can't I get, let's say Southwest or Delta? Even in manual submission, I keep getting rejected. Well, to be honest, you only have a 25 to 35% chance of getting them. As compared to if you were a little bit more on spot and a little bit more perfect in your flights, you would actually have almost like a 30 to a 50% chance of getting them. You actually basically have a coin toss if you're in that upper bracket. But that's what a lot of people don't understand. And then if you're below a 20, God bless you, flight simming is not for you. Just letting you know, flight simming is not for you because you wouldn't be able to go on anywhere with a manual submission. Of course, payment. And this is why I was talking about the number of flights. Because Scandinavian has a bunch of, for me personally, Scandinavian has a bunch of short flights. And I know I can finish off a schedule within a couple of days because I like to do turnaround flights a lot. Especially with the shorter flights. I like to chain like 2 or 3 of them in a row. I'll be willing to do the 10 flights a week and get the plus 25% on my salary, on my base salary, instead of the 10%. Of course, G-minutes, and then this basically tells you how to start everything, which I just did here in this video. I would give this a read and everything. This is a really good read and all. OV on Discord has done a phenomenal job with this program. Hats off to them and everything. I was not paid in any way, shape, or form to make this video or anything of that nature. I'm just doing it to help out the community, is because I've been seeing a lot of people coming in and out of here, out of our Discord. So I'm just trying to help you guys out. Hope you all enjoyed it. Later, peace.